Hey Sophie, you love that? Do you like it? Morning folks, it's Friday the 27th. It's about 7:10 a.m. And what I'm going to do here is this video is going to be all about my trip down to Dania Beach. How the hell you pronounce it? I don't know. I think when we get down there, we're going to ask somebody. And then do it right. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hook the trailer up to the truck, or maybe the truck up to the trailer, not sure. And we'll get the sidecar rig loaded up and strapped down, finish packing up some stuff, and then we're going to get on the road, head south. That's what this video is going to be all about, is the trip down to there, Dania, whatever the hell it's called, and the vintage motorcycle show. So let's get right to it. First try. I think I got to pick a few things up. This here is a 7x12 enclosed trailer, and the reason why I got a 7-foot wide is for this exact reason, because the only thing that would fit my sidecar rig, and it barely fits, because the 7-foot is from the inside of the walls, not necessarily the opening. And of course you have these guys for the door, and they are consuming a little bit of real estate on the sides, but not much. But it only fits by, I don't know, 2 inches or so on each side as it comes up the ramp. And once it gets inside, you got more room, of course. But I'm talking about the opening, the narrowest part. So this is why I did this. You may notice this line here. I painted this line just by putting some tape down after I got it straight where I wanted it, and then painted it to line up the sidecar wheel. Essentially, if you line the rear wheel, because the rear wheel is, try saying that 5 times fast, the rear wheel is wider than the front wheel. So we put the front wheel a little bit off that edge to the right, and as long as the rear wheel stays essentially right along that edge on the right side of this line, it'll lead you right up to the chock. And then we can just drive it up into the chock like you normally would, and it would lock it in. With a leading link front end, it's kind of a bitch to get it out. Sometimes I take the cam lock side of this chock out and just pull it up and let the straps do it. But you know, I've done it both ways. I think this way is fine. I can get it out. So you know, that's essentially how I do it. Now there's some writing here. Let me open this door up so you can see a little bit better. There's some writing here on the floor, some drawings. And these are outlines from where I put the chocks for various locations. So for example, you can see C14 or large cruiser. That's where I put the chock in the middle if I just have one single bike. There's also markings here for 2 bikes, and that would be the right chock. And this is what the markings I used when we went up to Pennsylvania a few years ago, me and my buddy Wayne, and we towed this, you know, this trailer with his truck, with his dually, and had both concourse in here. And when you take the bags off, you can fit it because it's a Fat Ninja. So we put one chock here, they're a little bit staggered, and then the other one for the other bike is a little further up, and you can see the outline of that one. It's underneath this one partially. But this position here is what I have marked for the sidecar forward position. So when it's more forward in the trailer, this is where I want, I need the chock to be. I can put it where the sidecar is much further back, so the end of the sidecar is about back here if I needed some space up front. And that's what this one's for here. Sidecar rearward mount. You can see that, all right? So that's why I have this marked out. I think this is a really good idea to do on any trailer, enclosed trailer in particular, so the weather doesn't beat them to death. And then, you know, remark them as necessary. Like for example, I'm gonna need to retrace that one, and then it's really good because it's repeatable. You know, you have repeatability when you put your chocks in. So that's how I do it. So let's go ahead and get you set up, and we'll get the sidecar in. Now, how I do that is essentially just drive it up, friction zone it up. I can hoist it up with my hoist, and I have done that before. There's a place where the hoist mounts up in there. It's a removable piece that I fabricated for that. But you don't really need to do it. It's more of these things when I first started loading this thing up, I wasn't confident enough to try to drive it up, so I just winch it up, you know. But in this case, I've done it a few times, so we're just going to go ahead and drive it up. All right, we're all loaded up, and you don't need many straps. I only have 3 on this one in the back, 2 in the front. It's not going to go anywhere. So I mentioned in the other video about the shop updates and event updates that I made a storyboard for this thing, and I actually redid that. And the reason why was because I'll show it to you really quick. I'll do a quick clip on it, but it's too busy. So what I ended up doing was I ended up making this, which is a quick fax. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shove it up in here like that. You know, from the other side you can see it. All right, so people can read that. You can see it through the windshield. And I don't know, I'm still debating, but you know, something like that. And then this book will be available on a little table that I have inside the chair right now. And it has stuff that they can flip through. So it's essentially the same material I had on that poster board. But the poster board's too busy. I mean, I really was thinking about this for a long time after I made that. And I'm like, you know, that's too much information. Nobody's going to stand around for 5 or 10 minutes and read all that. Now, if they choose to, they can stand around and read all this. But if they don't, then they can take a glance at the quick facts here and go, oh, cool. You know, it's a blah, 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 blah. So that's what I decided to do. So, yeah, I'll show you that. Like I said, I'll show you the one I made originally for it. Put it in as B-roll as I'm talking here. And it's just too busy. I just thought it wouldn't be right for this. So, hey, folks, here we are. We're at Frost Park in Dania Beach for the bike show. Last clips you saw, we were just packing up to leave Bradenton. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to try to show you any footage on the way. I mean, it's 75 Alligator Alley and boring, except for the one time I had to stop for peeing on the side of the interstate, but you don't need to know much about that. So anyway, I'm all set up in this particular location, and what we're going to be doing is taking a walk around, taking a look at a few things, and see what we got going on. There is no particular grouping as far as bikes, you know, model years or types, you know, sidecars, race bikes. They did away with that, my understanding is, and so it's just kind of a free-for-all. I kind of like it that way because then you don't really know what you're going to see. You walk around, you go, oh, there's a sidecar, there's a Indian, you know, there's a, you know, flathead Harley or an old Yamaha two-smoke, you know, something like that, and there's no rhyme or reason as to where they're located. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool to do it that way. So anyway, that's where we're at. Let me show you around a little bit as far as a view. It's right now it's only 0800, so they only started registering bikes an hour ago. Registration closes at 10:30 in the morning, so once that happens, then this will be essentially open for business with full complement of viewable machinery. So anyway, we'll pick it up when we take a walk around and see what we got. Let's go take a look at the swap meet. Tanks for the memories. This is a place you come, you need a side cover for a rare model. They're not always in the perfect condition, of course, but you don't really want them to be, otherwise they'd be $500. That's an XS11 tank, I can tell you right now, since I just did an XS11, I recognize it. Look at that, folks. A Z1. So it's probably, what, I don't know, 75-ish? Can't tell. Doesn't matter. Boy, that's nice. I like the green. I like the red ones better, though. Forgot what the red was called back then. My old KZ650 from 1979 had the same color red. And also the 82 KZ1100. The A2 that I had was that same color red that I'm talking about. And yeah, this is where this part of it all started. Yeah, you know, there's a story that was written in the Antique Motorcycle Club of America's magazine a couple of years back about when Kawasaki brought these across to the United States to do some test riding, and actually they raced it at Talladega ultimately, I think it was, but they started on the Pacific, you know, coming in off of a ship. And Kawasaki America, based in California, took these two Z1s like this, I think they were 74, maybe 73s, and they decided they wanted to camouflage them, so they took the badging off of it and they put Honda badging on it. The story goes that one of the employees essentially went up the road to a Honda dealership or some other place like American Honda or something, and picked up some badging for a CB750, which you remember came out in '69. So they ended up putting Honda logos on. And the story goes that they had stopped, the two riders had stopped somewhere in the west, somewhere coming east, and to get gas at a gas station at some podunk place, and some biker guy walked over, and he was the only one out of all the encounters they made on that particular trip that said, "Hey, that's not a Honda." And they said nothing, I guess, and just the guy never said anything to anyone. Who would he say it to, I guess? But that's the story of how Kawasaki brought these in incognito to do testing before they actually released them as a production model. So that's pretty cool. Here's a score for 10 bucks. I just bought this. It's a 700 750 Interceptor, but this would be not a VFR. This would be pre-85. So VF 700, VF 750. Considering the 700 would be the Tariff Buster, that would probably be 84. They did the 750 as well, but remember, they didn't do a 700 before the tariffs were imposed. Everything was 750. So have to be around that range, although it doesn't necessarily say a year, but that's okay. I like these manuals which are printed. I do have them in electronic, as you've seen many times with my videos, but I do like them printed. So we'll go stick this one in the other, near the other VF 750, and we'll take her home with us. Anybody want to get some head? If y'all have never been to a show like this is what you typically see, these rows, vendors on each side. If you're looking for something particular, in rare occurrences you'll find a show that'll actually list certain types of wares and types of things that people are selling, but I don't even find that at the Flywheelers, and that's a pretty big organized event. So essentially it's really hit or miss. And I just found the same place I got this service manual from. He's got a lot of K&L kits, gasket kits, carb rebuild kits, so I'm going to go over a little later when my hands are empty and see what I can grab off of them that I know I need or use pretty regularly. But the bikes are starting to fill up a little bit more now, so in a little bit we'll start going through the lines of motorcycles and take a look at what we got on display. Go check out the Kawasaki. And a nice stock looking, close to stock looking KZ1000 for once, instead of people butchering the shit out of them. Nice.
1977 KZ1000.
Yeah, the first year. All right, folks, I think mostly everybody's here, so I'm going to start taking you around. And when something looks interesting, I'm not going to show you everything, of course. We'll show you what it is and talk about it a little bit. This is a 66 CB77. These were really popular bikes back then and still are today. I'm not terribly fond of them as far as the looks go, but they're solid performers and definitely something that somebody might be interested in if they wanted to get into the vintage motorcycle world. 900 Super Sport Duke with the Desmo. Now the Desmo valve train is pretty interesting actually. What they do is, instead of the valves coming up and then the springs push them back, the Desmo does it both sides, so they can achieve higher RPMs without virtually any chance for valve float. So that's pretty interesting how Ducati decided to do that back in the day. This is a really nice copy. I mean, it's 1977 Duke Super Sport, so super looking bike, obviously in race trim, but yeah, she's beautiful. Nice old BSA, beautiful chrome, nice accents. I'll have to look at the tag and see the year. I'm not terribly familiar with them. For anybody that doesn't know, the BSA stands for Birmingham Small Arms. So, a small arms manufacturer started producing these motorcycles. So, I guess when you use the term gun it when you're on the bike, it means literally. Really nice CBX 1100, the across the frame 6-cylinder. And believe me, I don't ever want to work on one of these. I've read about it, and I don't ever want to do it. But anyway, this is a beautiful copy where the person who owns it obviously wrote it here, which is nice, so that it's not sitting around gathering dust like so many of these nice bikes that people have and they don't ride them. But CBX is a great bike. This is an 82. I think that was the only year. I don't know what the years were in the CBX, but anyway, it's something that if you're into these bikes, there's a niche a niche club setting, or people are like really into them. They are into them, what I'm trying to say. But now over here we got a nice ridden GPZ 1100, which is not one you'll see a lot. Usually the 750s and the 900R, of course, from '85, the Top Gun bike. Those are around, but this is a nice GPZ 1100, and it looks like it's turbocharged. So yeah, you got a turbine right there. You got the funky exhaust. Let's take a closer look at that. Yeah, it's not bad. I like the way that looks. Our customs are well represented at this show. So you have a custom KZ1000, I guess, drag bike extended swing arm. Yeah, pretty neat. I mean, it's creative. I don't really get into the extended swing arm stuff, as I think you well know, but I like the color and I like the looks of it. It's definitely nice. Now we're talking, folks. The H2, the 750, and this one is basically mint. Absolute screaming demon. It's a 75 Kawasaki. I think that, let me look at the tag to see the actual H2C Mach 4. It's obviously a 2-smoke, but I'll tell you something, folks. Some gun would pretty much eat everything else alive on the road and would probably give stuff a challenge to this day. So I would love to have an H2. The H1s are easier to find. There's a few of them around here. The H2s are just ginormous money when you can find them. Even when they're wrecks, they're ginormous money. So if you find one, buy it. Of course, here's where we're set up. Got my sidecar rig over here. Another nice sidecar rig, BMW style. I do like the color a lot. That color is beautiful. That blue. Let's take a look at the tag and get the details on it. Can't see it. If I can grab it, 66. Very nice. That looks like a Velarex. Front of it. I think it's a Velarex. Could be a BMW chair. I don't know, but it sure looks like a Velarex as far as the way it's, way it slopes down like that. Here's another one that I would absolutely love to have, is an RD 400 like this. Like the H2s, the Kawasaki's, these are becoming extremely difficult to find. You can find the RD 350s, but the 400s are just rare. I don't think they sold as many, but super nice bike. I would love to have one, but again, to get started in restoring one or something, just to buy the carcass is expensive. So yeah, that probably will not be something I'll be doing in the future. There we go. There's a good use for a sidecar. Haul another bike. I actually thought about doing something like this with a little trailer that I would pull behind the sidecar rig. Go for small bikes that I work on, little scooters, that would be kind of interesting, but I never did do it, and I'm probably not going to, but yeah, pretty slick. Nice mounts. Well done. The Eliminators, this is an 85. I read an article on these in the VJMC magazine where the author went through all the different iterations of it. Pretty neat bike. I didn't really know much about it. Now I know a little bit more. Can't remember to tell you about it, but anyway, it's pretty neat. Obviously, this is a ridden machine because the gentleman's got a Sun Pass, which if you're in a different part of the country, that's our equivalent to your Easy Passes. So it's pretty nice bikes. Good utilitarian, beefy. And over here we have an H1. We were talking about the H2 before. This was called the Widowmaker when it came out because it was so fast. And my brother had a friend that had one of these back in the 70s, late 70s. And he used to do burnouts on the thing out in front of our house. And I tell you what, I was amazed by it back then. And who knows where that bike is now. Nice RG Suzuki. 2-smoke. And yeah, she's RG 250. Another 500 for sale. Yeah, let me swing around and see the details, which I'll hopefully include in the video. That way, if you're interested in it, you can call him. 10.5. He'll get that for this. I guarantee he'll get $10,500 for this bike. Another beautiful RD 400. I mean, this one's really nice. I sure like that color scheme. This is 77 aftermarket exhaust, expansion chamber exhaust. Really, really beautiful. Let's take a look at the other side real quick. That's just a gorgeous machine right there. I love the mags. I love the color. It's just beautiful. I was eyeing this TZ750 a little while ago. We'll give you a better shot of it here in a minute. In fact, it's a race. I think this is the factory race bike, Yamaha race bike, liquid cooled, and it's a real nice looking bike as far as the quality of. I don't know if it's a restoration or somebody still races it or what, but she's beautiful. Let's take a closer look at the top of the engine. So again, liquid cooled. I'm not sure why it's wide open though. But anyway, you know, no air pods or anything. Maybe it's not actually ridden anymore. But really, really cool. Got the race slicks on it. And just beautiful looking machine. Just super paint. Yeah, look at the mix on it. I'm really surprised that that's a 40-to-1 mix. Because a lot of these race machines, they want you to be as much as 20-to-1 on them. So that's pretty interesting. I have no idea what this is. A Bond something or other? Looks like a 1971 Bond Bug 700 ES. Let's take a look at the inside of it. I've never even heard of it before. This is the first one I've ever seen. Wow, right-hand drive. That, yeah, makes sense. Come from the UK. Since they don't know what side of the right road to drive on. All right, just kidding. I just talked to the owner. The build numbers are listed on this sheet here. I wanted to highlight that. 1,203 were built. There are only 4 now left in the U.S., and this is actually his father, this Vic Hyde. I've never heard of the Entertainer. I'll have to ask my mother about him, since she's from that era. But yeah, that's a real cool little scoot he's got here. I sure like it. The color, by the way, is tangerine. It is not orange, according to the owner. So that's another tidbit for you. Some lovely old flatheads. 1942. So this was built in wartime. And if you do some research on this, you'll realize that the civilian models, as far as the production numbers for Harley, was of course way down. In Indian, I'm not sure about them. I know in World War I they really dedicated everything to military, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it's something to look up, or certainly research, because Harley Davidson's story itself is actually pretty interesting. I love these old patina machines that look like this. I mean, every little nick, every little scratch, every little stain has a story behind it, and the stories are told in just vivid color. 38 EL, his dad's Harley. This is the kind of sheet I was going to think about making, but I thought I was a little too busy for my bike. But that's pretty nice. That's pretty tastefully done. The bike itself, again, I love the patina. I like it when I just love it when they look like this, you know. They've been ridden, they run, keep running them, and enjoy them. I'll tell you right now, the more money you put into restoring something like this, number one, the less value it's going to have. Number two, the more you're not going to want to ride it, because you're worried it's going to get scratched, and that money is going to go out the window and spend even more on repairing that. So I kind of like to let the things go like this as well, and then you don't have a problem with riding it and having some fun on it. I'm not sure if this is an original Pope or a reproduction, but it looks like an original. But it's been restored, obviously. As you can tell by the patina on the engine, and then all the paint and stuff is all new. but she's pretty. This was the original, or I should say the start of it all, when they started essentially motorizing bicycles. So you have your pedals and an engine and handlebars that look like bicycles, so there you go. Clearly this one's not entirely done. I don't think it is, at least, because I don't see throttle cable hooked up to it, and I don't see other stuff, so it's more of a showpiece right now. Perhaps it's a work in progress. Here's a better shot, I think, of that KZ1000 I showed you briefly before. And I was talking to the owner. We were talking old Kawasaki bikes, and he's done a really nice job with this, with the Kirker period correct, or maybe it's an original Kirker. I don't know. And pods. Nice looking machine. Very, very tastefully done. This is the kind of thing I like, you know, the restoration side of it. Period correct mods with, you know, just a little bit of changes, just a little bit, and make them look nice instead of this radical stuff. All right, I think I showed you, until later, maybe if someone else catches my fancy, what you want to see now or what we want to see. We'll save some battery here, and then we'll do some shots. If you look way over there, they got some games going on, some cycle games. Out in that dirt area. Looks like a baseball diamond or something. And so we'll resume the video periodically, and also take a little bit of video of that. Well, let's do one more. We got a VFR 400R, which is a cute little V4 sitting over here that's in super nice shape. And thinking this is, to be in the show, they have to be 35 years old. Well, it's a 92, so I don't even, it says right on their webpage they got to be over 35, but anyway, they got it on display. Maybe they don't get judged. They're just for entertainment. I don't know. But to be judged, at least, it says, you know, 35 or more. But anyway, yeah, that's a nice looking bike. 92 VFR 400R. Beautiful little Honda. What, a Honda 50, I guess? And they're off. Oh, they're doing the balls first. Okay. Well, leave it to a guy to be able to handle balls well. Oh, almost. Here we go, the old school. Old school. 1, 2, 3. Oh, almost. Scooter trash on the line. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, wow. There you go. Look at all that, man. He nailed him. Now he's got to come back and do it again. There he goes. All right. Come on, man. Come on, come on. Do it, do it. One more. Yup, here we go. There's your winner, folks. I think I missed this one before. Yeah, I did, because this got a steering stabilizer on. I didn't see that earlier, so I must not have filmed this one. Whoops. That is a really nice copy of a tastefully done velocity stack. You can see that. KZ1000, or an LTD 1000. Vance & Hines. I'm not sure if that swing arm is stock or extended. Oh no, it can't be stock, because the stock one was round. So yeah, so he's got an aftermarket, I think that's slightly wider extended swing arm. And yeah, not bad. Pretty cool. That's a really nice looking unit. Very tastefully done. All right, folks. Saw this little doodad, like a pendant medallion type thing on the bike. It says winner. So, I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out here in a little bit. Otherwise, we're just going to chill out until, I guess the awards are 3 o'clock. It's almost 13:30 right now, so we got a little wait before that happens. So let's see what happens. Well, folks, I guess this is it. Trophies are already handed out, and I guess that's our reward. Hey, it beats genital herpes. We got a new passenger for the sidecar. Her name is Sophie. Sophie is testing it out because Sophie's humans are interested in getting the sidecar for multiple dogs. There's a couple of them there, right there. Look at that. Yeah. Hey, Sophie, you love that? Do you like it? I hope my dog doesn't see this. He's gonna get jealous. What a good puppy. What a good dog. You like that? It's a little cramped.
Ride all day with my mommy and daddy.
I'm not sure if I got this one before. That's a beautiful, beautiful RD 400. I love the colors. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, folks, that's it. We're gonna close this one out. There's nothing else going on here unless something else pops up. That's gonna be in this video. So we're gonna start packing up and start heading out of here. Go get something to eat, go back to the hotel room and go home tomorrow. So yeah, that's about it. Sure appreciate everybody and the hospitality here from the organization that puts on this Dania, whatever it is, motorcycle show. We had a lot of fun today. We'll do more. You guys stick around to see that and other videos on the channel. As usual, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.